Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Unraveling Podcast. I'm here with Alyssa,
Hi.
and Alyssa's about to be frozen in.
Hopefully not to death.
Yeah, actually, let's open with that video because Alyssa is about to have the biggest storm hit
The storm
that we've
of a
ever
lifetime.
seen.
It's coming.
Yes.
The storm of a lifetime.
That somehow it's just funny because they just they say it and they make it happen. It's like, you're just telling us exactly what you're doing. And we can't stop it. Okay.
I know. It's so
So
frustrating.
I'm going to share this video and we could discuss it a little bit. Let me get on to here.
Here with Kristen Megan. She's a military veteran, right?
Yes, I was in the U.S. Air Force for 9 years.
Wow. And you came out and blew the whistle on geoengineering, things that you witnessed were going on. Can you give us the real nutshell?
Absolutely. Basically, I have heard of what many people know as the term chemtrails. And I worked in a job called bioenvironmental engineering, and I thought that was insane. And why would we do something like that? Modify the weather by using hazardous materials in our atmosphere?
Turns out all the crazy cranks and conspiracy theorists who were concerned about chemtrails and weather modification, well, you might have been proven right after all.
What are these lines in the sky that we have all seen?
They're sprayed particulate dispersion. Bottom line is, when we have up-close film footage of these aircraft at altitude with nozzles visible turning dispersions on and off, this is not, quote, condensation. Geoengineeringwatch.org is the only entity to sample what these heavy aircraft are emitting at altitude. We found exactly what we knew we would find, starting with aluminum nanoparticles.
Okay, that's all. I love her. I don't know if you follow her, but I just think she's so funny. So cute.
I watched that documentary on Prime. I think it was called, I'm pretty sure it was The Climate Trails. But that lady that was the first one she's in that she showed the interview of was one of the ladies on it. It's just nuts because it's like, I hate, I was just telling my husband this, but it's like, we know the Lord has a victory in the end. And I'm so thankful for that. But what I can't stand is that these elites at the top, we know what they're doing to us, but we literally can't stop it. And I hate thinking of the power,
I know
how they feel, they just know they're doing this to us and we can't do anything about it. And I just cannot stand that.
I know. It drives me nuts. It's and it is crazy because at this point, it's like one of those things that everybody always called, oh, it's a conspiracy. And now it's like pretty much everybody knows it's real. Like chemtrails are real. It's proven. It's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
And we get to do nothing about it except sit here and watch everybody be sick. And now we get to watch these storms come through. And it's just crazy. And normally I wouldn't be that scared of a storm. We've dealt with a few storms where we're stuck in the house for a few days.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. And we've seen in the video, those big hurricanes, it's those are crazy. And so much so much happens with them. And so when they're telling you this is going to be the storm of a lifetime, it's okay. And they're saying people could have no power for up to a month. It's that's so scary.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're in the path of where it should be as bad. There's some places that are supposed to get 3 inches of ice. And those are the places that they're saying it could be a month if it's that much ice. Thankfully, I don't think we're in that, but I think we could still get almost an inch.
They think they're doing all these places that are going to get hit with it a favor by telling you this is going to happen and prepare for it. But it's you're the same people doing it to us. Just don't do it. So we won't have to prepare for it.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted that video of our skies yesterday. It was crazy. It was we left our house and it was kind of small. And then it was we were only gone an hour, but I was watching it the whole time. And then that circle got so big in the sky. And then by the time we got back home, it was just all clouds. There was nothing weird in the sky. But it was just interesting. And then even my son, he's it's not fair. He's they're doing this and they know now we're going to go spend all this money stocking up on food. And you know what I mean? It's they have they make so much money off of this.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's just, yep. It's don't get the and we'll just throw it in the sky, and
Yep.
we'll also send storms to kill you if you're not going to do what we say.
It's
Ugh.
crazy. And it's
I
like
mean, we've seen what happened in Texas. Wasn't it Texas where all those floods were?
yeah,
Right?
that was
Yeah, it's like,
last summer, I think.
yeah. So
I
it's
mean, we
just
had that
like,
storm in 2021, which was really bad, and everybody saw, like, all the water
mhm,
pipes were bursting. Thankfully,
yeah,
ours were fine. But it's
yeah,
like, I don't know. It's just interesting because that circle thing is like, that's what everybody saw in the sky right before that storm. So I'm like,
great.
I'm assuming it'll be on that level
Yeah,
or worse. But praying against it, just praying
I
that we're
know.
okay. But it is
Yep,
scary. So I've been prepping
it
and
is.
prepping the last 3 days. So hopefully we're good.
Yep.
And I'm
Well,
not
we will
normally
all be
like that.
praying.
Normally my mom's like, "Go buy everything." And I'm like, It's fine." But this time I'm
Yeah,
like my husband's like, "You probably got enough." And I'm like, "Well, what if? What if we're,
yeah.
like,
I mean,
stuck here for 2 weeks?"
yeah, after the week that our power was out, I'm just like, you should just always be prepared with
Yeah,
things, you know, just in case, because it's just
I know.
like, it's just inconvenient and you just don't know. I mean, when the power went out for us, it was like we were expecting like 2 days, which we've handled before, but a whole week is like,
Mhm.
especially I was telling Alyssa before this, we had to keep our generators going almost the whole time because my husband's medication has to stay cold. So it was like we were like going down the hill every 8 hours to get more propane.
That's
Like, I wish
insane.
we
I
just
know, your
stocked up
life
on it.
sounded crazy.
It
Like,
was
that was the
really
craziest
annoying,
thing.
but this sounds a million times worse.
Yeah,
So
I know.
so
So, yeah,
hopefully you'll be fine.
pray for us. It's crazy. It's, like, literally, like, 3/4 of the country at this point. Like, the map just
Yeah.
keeps growing and growing and growing. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, and if you watch the documentary on Prime, it's like all stuff
Uh-huh.
I've already known. Like, it wasn't really anything new exactly, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just like we have to figure out something. As a people, like, how are we allowing this? And, like,
Mhm.
I don't know. But, they do talk about how, like, they actually, move the storms and stuff because obviously, like, storms are just
Mhm.
caused by, like, heat and cold, like, hitting
Uh-huh.
in certain ways, you know? So it's
Right.
like I forget exactly what they said, but they, like, set things up so there's, like, it creates these paths so they can, like, pretty much
Mhm.
exactly direct where they go. It's so nuts.
God. So great.
So
We're just
everybody
living
say
the
a
best
prayer
time.
for Alyssa and her family because
Yes, please.
she does not know what's coming.
I
Okay,
know.
the next video I'm gonna share is, let me pull it up before I go to that. If you didn't know, we are supposed to be losing gravity.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then hear this is the
Okay.
You tell me your thoughts. I don't really know how I feel about this.
Obviously, I don't
We don't believe
believe
in
this is
gravity,
even gonna,
so
yeah, retarded. It's
like,
something, if you're gonna hop on and say how dumb we are for not believing gravity, you literally can't prove gravity.
yeah.
I
No.
mean, you can prove that the way that you guys meaning like NASA and people who believe NASA, you can disprove the way that they say it works. It's very simple. You just put water on a ball, you spin it as fast as you can. It does not, gravity does not hold.
Doesn't work.
It's
Sorry.
just, anyways, besides the point.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, I saw this clip and I was just like, oh, here we go again. Like the futurists, rapturists are like, see, they're gonna use this. This is gonna be like, they're gonna pretend like it's just gravity, but it's actually us being taken up. Because you
Okay,
see all
I
the
don't
bodies
know.
going up. So I'm like,
I didn't
they're
think
for
about
sure
that.
gonna use it.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the
They
second
totally
I
are.
saw bodies going up into the sky in this video, I mean, who knows what it's gonna look like, but I could just see the rapturous people being like,
You're right.
you see, like this is it, it's happening. It's really just Jesus coming back. It's not that we're losing gravity. There's always like an excuse. Like it's the aliens. It's the gravity we're losing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
that
I just thought it
video
was
is
funny when I saw that.
crazy. I know. And that is what, like, I thought of, like, when I saw it, it looks like a rapture video.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that would totally make sense.
It's just like
I can't.
what is NASA planning to do with that 8 seconds or whatever? That's the part I'm not like. you know?
This year is
Or are they
just
gonna
kicking
or is it
off
an
to be a wild
excuse?
year.
Yeah, it's like or are they just gonna use it as like they're telling us this we're gonna lose gravity and then somehow they're gonna fix it and they'll be heroes or I don't know.
I know.
I
It'll
don't
be
know. I just
interesting to
thought it
see
was
how
funny because I
I
saw
know.
it. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Up, here goes the rapture people again. It's
Ugh,
happening.
yeah.
It's
I'm
happening."
sure. Okay.
All right.
Are we ready?
Well, we are gonna do like a short overview of Matthew 24. We've got like Ellis and I were talking this morning. We've gone over a lot of these points before, but we've never had them all like it's kind of been in all different videos. So we're gonna try to make it just one concise, like,
Mhm.
here it is, here's the points.
Yeah.
So do you want me to just read through the verses and we'll just stop
Sure.
kind of like we did
Mhm.
the okay. All right, so we're going to be in Matthew 24, signs of the end of the age. Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came up to him to call his attention to its buildings. Do you see all these things? He asked. I tell you the truth, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown away or thrown down. Um, so right off the bat, I mean, he's just preparing them for the Roman Jewish war.
Yeah. And we pointed this out in one of our first videos, but just how he's talking and he's like literally pointing to that second temple saying it's going to be
Mhm.
destroyed. That's where I always
Mhm.
get caught up in like now you have dispensationalists who will say, yeah, that temple was destroyed. And it's
Mhm.
like, that's what he said was going to happen. So why are you
Why wouldn't we
still saying
trust the
this?
rest of what he said? Mhm.
Yeah. Like, why are you saying there's going to be another one? He didn't say that.
Mhm.
He was talking about that one.
I
So
yeah. And I also think
it's
I
confusing.
wonder I don't know if I have a picture. I'm pretty sure I could have this wrong, but I'm pretty sure the temple walls, like, surrounded parts of the city too. So it's like it wasn't just this one temple building, but it was the temple was huge. I mean, if you haven't
Mm,
read, so it's like it took up because he says the building, so I think it took up, like, quite a bit of space. So it would be quite the feat to, like, destroy the whole thing till there's no stone
uh-huh.
left upon
Yeah.
another.
Right.
But yeah, that's just referencing what was to come when Rome destroyed Jerusalem.
Mhm.
Okay, verse 3. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen and what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?
So this is
Um,
the verse that people split up into two. That
mhm,
question is the dispensationalists split it into two of like this, what is the sign of your coming? And a different question, when is the end of the age? And it's like, it was one question. So why are we
mhm,
splitting it?
yeah,
He answers and it's about both,
mhm,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly. That's what like his answer implies that it's gonna happen together.
together.
And if you go even in the other portions, um I think it was Luke 9 and Mark 9 when they mention, like, the
Mhm.
transfiguration. They're saying it's mentioning that, but it's just like the transfiguration didn't come with all the other signs that Jesus also put before him talking about coming to glory. So it's like, it's either you have them all together, like Jesus that's what I can't stand
Mhm.
about Jesus, like I shouldn't say can't stand, that sounds really, harsh, but it's like my biggest thing with it is, like, Jesus is we say it every time, he's not a God of confusion, and yet we act like he is intentionally with the way we, interpret the scriptures, the modern church, we act and what we say, we're making him a trickster, like, he's like, "Oh, I hope they can
Yeah.
figure this out. I'm gonna say one
Mhm.
thing, but, like,
Yeah.
you know." And it's like, I don't know how
And
they don't see.
I feel like I could almost see them like thinking that because Jesus did speak in the parables a lot. But the
Mhm,
parables weren't that confusing. Like, yes, he spoke in parables, but it still had a plain message where it's like
mhm,
you're almost like just trying to make it, like you said, like you're trying to make Jesus to he's just trying to trip us up.
mhm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, like, so
let's
let's see
see
if
if you
you're
can
smart
figure it
enough to
out.
follow along. Because the
And it's
difference
like,
too is, like, the parables were stories to convey a message. These are him
hmm
telling us literal signs to come. He's not, like, putting this in a story form right
yeah,
here. He's like, "This is what's gonna
hmm
happen." He's
hmm
speaking very plainly.
hmm
Um, And we mentioned this on another video too. He says, or that verse 3 says, the end of the age, meaning like not the end of the world, like as we know it. It's just the end of an era, basically, you know.
Yeah.
Verse 4, Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains." Okay, I went into this a little bit on, I think, the Little Season one we did. I'm telling you guys, this book is so good. Breaks everything down. So I'll just say a couple of these things. And I said this on the last one, but the many will come in my name. There's a whole bunch of different accounts of like after Jesus ascended, a man named Dositheus came. He was a Samaritan. He Simon Magus, who we all know is like the magician, was underneath him. Um there was Theodos, many followed him. He told them, "Follow me to the Jordan." And they believed he was a Messiah because he said, "I'll split the waters." Obviously he didn't. And then in AD 55 arose Felix the impostor, they called him, from Egypt. He got over 30,000 followers who followed him to the Mount of Olives, and he told them like, "We'll watch Jerusalem be destroyed," basically. They were taken out by some of the leaders and stuff. But so you have these men coming right after Jesus's ascension. I think this is like a problem I have too, is it's like they always say this generation meant whatever generation saw those signs. Okay, but then we have from the moment Jesus ascends, you can historically look up in works by Josephus and Tacitus, and there's a few other historians too that document things. And they're seeing these signs. And yet we don't believe those were the signs. And again, that just makes him a trickster. Like, all these things will happen immediately after I ascend, but they're actually not for you. It's going to happen again later on and a couple other times throughout every generation until I just decide not to be tricking people anymore, and then I'll come. Like,
Right. It really just
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
any sense. It's
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because growing up in it, you don't ever think it sounds weird. Like I never thought, "Oh, this sounds crazy." But you could just totally see how so many, like, okay, we grew up that way, and then you come out of these Christian schools and you grow up and you go on your own, and you can see why. I mean, probably most every kid we went to school with in high school fell away. I would say the majority of them are not
Yeah,
believers
I'd
anymore.
say like 90%,
Yeah, so it's
if
like
not
you
more.
could
Yeah.
see that they're probably confused. They're probably like, "Well, this is crazy. Like Jesus was supposed to come back 2000 years ago and he still
Yeah,
hasn't."
that
Like
sounds like a fairy tale that, yeah.
it yeah, and you don't ever feel like that when you're in it. And still as an adult, I didn't feel like that, but I think probably a lot of
Yeah.
people do.
I
It
mean, I personally, like I've told the story before, but when 2020 came and we all were like so sure this has got to be it. Jesus is
Yeah.
coming back. And after it like all passed and settled down and life went back to normal, I do remember kind of having this like, I wasn't angry at God by any means, but I was just
It
like,
was
okay, what
confusing.
the heck? How
Yeah.
much more is going to happen?
Mhm.
Like, especially because you have these pastors telling you, look for the signs, be prepared. And then you see these things that you think are, and then it doesn't come to pass.
Yep.
That's not how these people felt. They saw the
Yeah.
signs, and it
And
was
yeah.
like birth pains. It was continuing to get worse and worse until 70
I mean,
AD.
literally just think of, okay, why would Jesus use birth pains? Why would he describe it like that? It's
Yeah.
because once it starts, it's not just going to stop. Like birth
Yeah.
pains, you're going and it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger till you're done. Like
And it's just
there,
going to keep, yeah.
like why would
Yeah,
he use
exactly.
that to describe it if that's
I
not what
mean,
he
I
meant?
guess they would say that we're just still enduring the birth pains, but it's like,
It's
for
fast.
how
So like
long?
when you start, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to take
Yeah.
2000 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many, I don't know. It's like, honestly, I'm continually like, still, we talk about this all the time. Like, if we are wrong, like, we just want to know the truth.
Mhm.
But the more I look into it, it's like the more I see that the past view I had could not be. Like, it just doesn't make
sense.
sense. Yeah, I have to do
Mm-mm.
so many things to make it work, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not the character of God.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. It is hard because it's like I really, really do think, okay, if we're not in the little season, it's like, okay, then where are we? But I was saying this to Jamie the other day, like thinking about how all the dispensationalists, if they even acknowledge the little season, right? They're
mhm,
like, oh, it's so fast. It's just going to happen. Boom, 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 done. Okay. Because it's called a short season, a little season. Yet they believe that soon means 2,000 years. So if you believe soon
mhm.
means 2,000 years, why are you saying that this means
At
a
hand,
fast?
like, several
Yeah, like,
that's the thing too, is it's like, it's not just that he says there's several phrases in there that all mean the same thing, but it's almost like he knew people would try to confuse it, so let me say it in every way that I can. It's here, it's
yeah.
happening,
But
you
even
know?
the Ezekiel thing of him like redetermining, when I say at hand, it means it's gonna
Mhm.
happen. Like he literally like
Yeah.
redefined what at hand meant and then
Yeah,
used
he's like,
that to
"I'm telling
describe.
you what I mean."
And he says it about his upcoming resurrection. He says that's at hand,
Mhm,
am I right?
mhm.
Doesn't he say that? So it's
I think
like,
so. We'd have to look it up for
why?
sure.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And like believing
It
even
just
with the
goes
little
against his
season.
character.
Yeah, but
He's
like even
not
believing that that's so fast, why can't you possibly
Mhm.
wrap your mind around the fact that that could be longer than just like bam, it's done?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I to me the logic isn't there. You just
Yeah.
want to say that to
Especially
prove
because
us
it's like,
wrong.
we'll apply that verse, which doesn't even work, by the way. The 1,000 years to the Lord is like a day. He's not referencing the 1,000-year reign when he says that.
No.
But it's also like, you wanna use that verse to say, like, his coming is long because a day is like 1,000 years. So, we don't know. But then when it comes to the short season, all of a sudden it's like, no, no, no. Time is
Yeah, that's
exactly
wrong.
how we see it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Time is exactly how we see it, and short for us is short. And it's like,
Yeah, so
okay, what
that's what I'm
happens to it could
saying.
be yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're
None of it
gonna
makes
say
sense.
that about that, then you have to say it about
Mm.
what you're talking about as well. Like it can't
Mhm.
just apply where you want it to apply. And so that's
Mhm.
why like you and I are always like, are we wrong? But no, really, like reading through the New Testament as many times as I have, it's like there's no way he didn't mean that. There's just no way.
Yeah. And it's also just like, we have to let scripture interpret scripture. And if you look at like, so a lot of people go to this verse because it talks about the fig tree. I don't know if it's in this one, but I think it's in Luke 21, which is basically like a
Mhm.
parallel of this. But um, and then it says like, this generation won't pass away until all these things happen. And people are like, he was talking about the fig tree generation when that
Yeah.
generation sees it. But the problem I have with that is, number one, he could have said that generation, not this generation, to
Yes.
clarify. Like, again,
Yes.
Jesus isn't a trick, but also
Mhm.
we let scripture interpret scripture. And several times throughout the New Testament, he's talking to his disciples and he's reiterating, like, to them, you will not truly pass away or whatever until the Son of Man comes. Like, he
Mhm.
says it in different areas. It's not just this one place he says that generation, because
No.
then, yeah, maybe we could debate, but
Yeah.
all throughout before his death, he's telling his disciples that it's them. It's you
Yeah.
guys. Like,
Mhm. And even
so we
with the
can't
whole
just come to that
generation
verse and
thing,
switch it.
yeah, but it's like even with that we've talked about a while ago, it's just like, okay, well, a generation is 40 years. So if I don't know,
Mhm.
like don't they say the fig tree like one okay, oh, it's Israel. Once Israel started, it was supposed to be
Yeah,
40
so
years.
even if you're putting it to futurism,
Okay, so it's
you
been 40
still
years. And now
yeah.
we're almost to what, 80 years? I'm
Mhm.
terrible.
Which,
When
to
was
be fair, it's like,
could be.
um so we had a comment, and this lady's saying we don't know the Greek word for that. Okay, the Greek word still means um generation. And
Mm,
so then you go to look at the culture of both like Hebrew culture, Jewish culture, and Greek culture. And when you're looking all those up, every single one believes that it's anywhere from the range of 40 to 100 years. So we're talking 100 years at most.
yeah.
And he said it to them. So it's like,
Even
you're
120.
still
Let's
proving
give
my
him
point.
120, okay?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
he told them you can only live 120 years. So we'll just call it
Hmm.
120. We're well
Hmm.
past that at this point. So
Yeah.
it's just
And if
like,
you want to apply it to the modern day Israel, I guess we'd have like 40 years left. I don't know. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that
No.
Jesus would be so complicated that he wouldn't just say a future generation, or he would have said specifically, like, the fig tree generation will be the ones to see the sign. He didn't say that. He
Yeah.
said this generation.
I know. It's all
Um,
way too confusing.
yeah. Going back to, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. This is something that I've always thought was interesting. Okay, since we've been born, and we've, again, almost everything we're saying, we've probably said in another podcast, but it'll be nice, I think, for everybody to have it in one place. But we've talked about, like, since Alyssa and I have been born alone, we've consistently seen wars happening. We've never been in a time of peace. There's wars that go on, like, we're here in America just chilling and we have people fighting the wars. We don't even know half the things happening, right? There's constantly wars happening. Okay, well, during the time from, I think it was 30 BC. I think I wrote it down. Hold on, just so I have it correct. 31 BC to 30 AD, they had the Pax Romana in place, which was a time of peace. So all that time until Jesus's death, there was this time of peace. They weren't having, like, they weren't used to seeing wars. There wasn't a lot of fighting going on during that time. It was a peaceful time. So for Jesus to say wars and rumors of wars, that meant something for them because they were used to a time of peace. We aren't. We've consistently heard about wars and rumors of wars. Of wars, and,
Yeah.
like, that's not a birth pain anymore. This is just the way our life is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But for them, it was like, okay, there's nothing. It's a time of peace, and then wars hit. And actually, Josephus talks about, I think several times in Josephus's works, but he talks about after Jesus's ascension, like, talking about their history. There was several times that the Jews basically, they went to war with people they went to war with. I wrote this down too. There was at one point, the Jews left for Seleucia and they were slaughtered by the Greeks and the Syrians. That's specifically a Josephus account. And then another time, then the Jews and the Syrians were going up against each other, and it resulted in 20,000 Jews dying. And there's like 3 or 4 other short wars that were happening in the span of that time after Jesus ascended. And it's like, so wouldn't you, if, as a person living in that time, if Jesus told you you're currently in the Pax Romana time period,
Yeah.
when there is peace, you're living peacefully with Rome, and then Jesus ascends into heaven and suddenly there's wars breaking out all over, would that not to you trigger, wait, Jesus said that? So again, either Jesus is a liar or a trickster, or he was speaking to them.
No, yeah.
I just, like,
I mean, it's like, even I would say since World War I, there's been wars ever since. So how many years is that?
Yeah.
I don't know how many years that is,
I
but
don't know.
at least
I'm bad at
100.
math. I'm bad at math, and I also can't
I
say
don't know when the
World
first
War.
one was. Yeah, real
I
world.
always mess up. We already talked about this. I can't say it.
She called it
I
the
was
real
just
world.
talking to Alex about something. And I literally had to try to say it like 3 times. I have to say it so slow. World War.
World War.
It just sounds weird to me.
Gosh.
Anyways, okay.
Okay.
Not the
But
point.
yeah, no, it's so true. It's like, it just, we've had too many wars for that to make any sense for us.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And then it talks about earthquakes and famines, and I have, let's see. Oh, and lights in the sky. That wasn't that part yet. We'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we will. That is in there too. But again, so then there's also talking about great earthquakes in the works of Tacitus and Josephus. There's talks about these huge earthquakes that happen. One in particular, I should have underlined all this. Okay. So they're happening in diverse places. During the reign of Claudius, there was one at Rome and another in Apamea in Syria, where many of the Jews resided. The earthquake at the latter place was so destructive that the emperor, in order to relieve the distresses of the inhabitants, remitted its tribute for 5 years. So, like, they were helping them out. Both of these earthquakes, 2 of those earthquakes were spoken of by Tacitus, and then Philostratus, which is another historian that I had looked at. he mentions an earthquake happening during that time. During the reign of Nero, there was an earthquake at Laodicea, which is another thing Tacitus recorded. So it's just like, um, how many times are we going to see the words of Jesus coming true within the time period after his ascension, but we're not going to attribute that to what he
I
was
mean,
saying would
that's what
happen?
I'm saying. It's like even with the temple being destroyed, he said that was going to happen. He said that
Mhm.
was part of it. And
Mhm.
you're saying, oh, well, somehow it's not connected. He literally said it. So if he said it
Yeah.
and that happened, okay, I'm going to go with everything he said made sense. Everything he said came true. You know?
Mhm.
You're just choosing to believe bits
Yeah.
and pieces. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it
Or
really
even
what
like, okay, I'll just read a little bit on verse 9. Like, okay, just pay
Mhm.
attention to how many times it says you. You know what I mean? Okay, then they will deliver you
Mhm.
up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Then many will fall
Which a
away
lot
and
of the
betray.
disciples were.
Mhm. Many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray, which is what you were just talking about.
Mhm.
Because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved, which is what we've talked about so much
Mhm.
of like a pre-trib doesn't make sense because why would he say the
Mhm.
ones who endure to the end, you know? And then
Mhm.
this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and the end will come. Okay, I guess that one didn't say that much. But in the beginning it says they will deliver you up to tribulation and put
Mhm.
you to death and you will be
Yep.
hated. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, but we always just attribute that to
but
the whole
why?
church, which is funny because it's like when it's convenient for Zionist churches, the "you" is talking only about the Jews because they're the chosen people. But in verses like this, the "you" means the whole church.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, we can't pick and choose. Either we all are the church or only they are the ones being talked to all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's like he's literally talking to them.
Mhm.
And we know, like, there's even in Josephus's works, like the love, where did it go? Most, in the increase of wickedness and the love of most will grow cold. And then Josephus talks about, which is also, it's talked about, I think in Revelation, like mothers eating their babies, right? And Josephus talks about a time that he literally saw that. And it's like, okay, these things, it's literally happening. I just like, and yes, some of these signs, that's the thing is like, some of these signs and things happen now, but the problem is they weren't happening when Jesus was here talking about it.
Mhm.
Then he ascends and then they happen. So that's like
Yeah,
the
I think.
biggest thing for me. It's like it wasn't happening. He leaves, he
Mhm.
says it's going to happen.
Mhm.
And once he leaves, they start happening.
Right. I think that's where it's just frustrating. It's like the dispensational church can't even acknowledge our questions. They can't acknowledge anything that we're saying makes any sense. And
Mhm.
it's like, you have to put this, I don't know, you have to fit this all
Mhm.
together. So if all these things
Mhm.
happen, like he said, you can't just ignore it because you don't want to accept it. Like you have to be
Mhm.
willing to discuss these things. And I don't know, like to just ignore it and call us followers of Satan is the most
Mhm.
baffling thing to me. Because like,
Yeah.
what are we how are we following Satan? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing that's wrong? Like, I don't
And this
see
is
that.
yeah, and this is like historical.
Yes.
This is historic. Like it, the way we talk about it now, and we've said this before, is as if this was written, like never even really written for those people. This was just a book
Mhm.
written for us, always intended
Mhm.
for us only. But it's like, no, these are real people living who he's talking
That
to.
he's really talking to. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
It just never
and
mind.
then I also thought with that verse 13, but he who stands firm to the end will be saved. It's also like not only like not like pre-trib obviously isn't right, but it's like endure till the end of your life, like you might die. So in no way I don't think there's a rapture. He's saying either you're going to make it through the tribulation and I'll save you, or you're going to die during the tribulation and I'll save you. Like you'll be with
Mhm.
me for eternity, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, totally.
Um, I don't know if you have these verses offhand, but we just went over them. But and the gospel being preached. There's the one in Colossians that says it's been preached, and
Colossians.
then
Uh-huh. I mean, I could pull up my list if you want me to.
Yeah, just give the references so people can look it up. But he says that, and then scripture fulfills that and
It's
tells us that it happened.
Colossians 1:23. If indeed you continue in faith, stable and steadfast, not shifting from the hope of the gospel you heard, which has been proclaimed in all creation under heaven, of which Paul became a minister. And then in Romans 1:8. First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for all of you, because your faith has been proclaimed in all of the world. Gets me every time.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's
I
just
would
like,
just literally love to sit down and like, it would be hard to sit down. I'm thinking of like Pastor Jack Hibbs in my head because he's the one who's so like, he probably would
mhm,
have some reason for everything. But it's like, can you just like sit back and like, what do you have to say about that? How
mhm.
do you get around that? Like, there's so many things that
Well,
I'm like, can we just literally ask you a question
yeah.
and get
What
a
I'm
real answer?
noticing though is like there isn't like whenever if somebody asks us a question and we don't know, I will literally say, I'm not positive of this. This
Mhm.
would be my opinion,
Yeah.
but I'm not trying to come up with like
Make up
something
stuff
just to
just to
sound
make it
smart.
work.
Whereas like some of the
Mhm.
people recently, I just told us we don't comment back and forth with a lot of people that much anymore, but sometimes one will get you. And this lady's going off about like knowing the Greek or Hebrew. So she's just talking about the generation and how I don't understand, but a lot of times they'll just throw these like phrases or words out. Like I think if people say, "Oh, you obviously don't know what the Greek word means." I almost think they think that's going to trump me and I'm not going to look it up and I'm going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know." And it's like, "No,
Yeah.
I literally do know and I also know what the Hebrew and the Jewish culture were like and what you are saying does not fit any of those." So it's
Mhm.
like I think sometimes they're hopeful if they just throw out these like it's like NASA, they throw out these big words and then it's almost
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I can't refute that because I don't even know what that means." That's
Yeah.
what a lot of them do instead of actually having a conversation.
Mhm.
And so it's just like, that doesn't work. Like, at least just be humble enough to say, like, I don't really know why it would mean this either, but I believe it's a future generation. If you want to believe
Exactly.
that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't pull up like
I just think if
Greek
you don't
and
feel
Hebrew
confident
translations.
if you don't feel confident in an answer, just don't respond. You know?
Yeah.
Like, don't say
Yeah.
anything.
And
No.
the conversation continued. I'll just share this because it just solidifies for me. Like, I don't know. I guess it goes back to Jack Hibbs too. I'll just go. Sorry, I'm getting all caught up in my thoughts. But she was just saying, she was like, the gospel is directly tied to our view of eschatology. And the thing is it's not. The gospel stands alone. It's Jesus coming and dying for our sins and rescuing us from ourselves. And we get to take on the righteousness of Jesus for ourselves. Like, if that is all you need to accept. You need to accept that Jesus is who he said he is and that he did what he said he did in his word. That's
Mm.
salvation.
Mhm.
But when we're going to tie it to eschatological views, it's like, first of all, our view, we are just further in the timeline. We are not pulling up anything just
Nope.
like in prophecy that we want to believe. We're not
No.
creating things. It's just a
Mm-mm.
different point in the timeline.
Like,
So
why
I
would
said,
we choose to believe we're in Satan's
yeah,
little season? Like that if I could pick, I mean, I don't
yeah.
know what I'd pick, but it wouldn't be this.
No, it'd be that I
It's
was getting
like
raptured before anything bad happened.
yeah, right, I guess.
And
Ugh.
it's like, so, and she is right in a sense, like it can affect the way you view the gospel because we've seen it with Jack Hibbs. We've seen how, because his view of eschatology is so closely tied to what happens to Israel, modern day Israel, he is now putting our belief in Israel and blessing them on the same level as like the necessity to
Mhm.
gain salvation. And Jesus never said that. So yeah, it
And
could affect
you
it, but it's
see
like,
it yeah, it's like now he's starting to change the meaning of verses to fit. Like,
mhm. Yeah,
that are plain as day, you can figure out what these means, and
yeah.
this mean oh gosh, I can't talk. And it's like, it's
That's all
right
right.
there.
I can't either.
It's like
Yep. Yep.
it's like, how can you sit there and say these things that aren't true? Like,
Mhm.
literally, you can I think it's just becoming so obvious at this point, like,
Mhm.
he's having a rough time, and his true
Yeah.
colors are showing,
Yeah.
like, they're
Yeah.
showing, and he's showing that he follows one thing and he will make that one thing work. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
alarming
agree.
for sure.
But that's where so yeah, in a sense she's right, because if your view of eschatology is gonna create this idea in your head that we can add things to what we need to gain salvation, that's a problem.
Mhm.
But what we talk about, we've never changed the gospel. We don't add anything to the gospel. And I'm just sorry, but like, my parents believe in the futurist view. I believe in a different view, and I know we're
Mhm.
both going to heaven. I know my parents
Exactly.
believe the gospel.
Yes.
So that's where it's just like, at the end of the day, there's parts of me that's just like, we talked about this a little, but like, the commands that God gives us is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and to love others as yourself. And so, like, that's the most important thing for us, getting people to believe us in this eschatology. It isn't
Yeah.
necessary. It's just fun.
No.
We enjoy talking about it because we
Yeah.
enjoy God's truth, and we want to know the truth.
I mean,
But I
that's where it's so
genuinely
frustrating. It's like we want to talk about it. And it's like
Mhm,
both of our parents believed us in dispensationalists. And it's like, why can't we just have a conversation without getting
mhm.
upset? Like,
Yeah.
why can't we just, you think this way, I think this way,
Mhm.
and we agree to disagree? Like, why does it
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah,
like a
because at
thing?
the end of the day, like I said, if you believe it's future and I believe it
It
happened,
seems silly
we
when you think about it
neither
like that.
yeah, it's like, but neither of us think anything different about what Jesus did. So it
No,
really doesn't matter.
no.
And like I said, obviously we think truth is important. That's why we talk about it. But it's like,
Yeah.
we aren't changing the gospel. So I got a little sidetracked, but I just like,
It's hard not to.
yeah, it's just, I
Well, I
don't get
think
it.
when you're going through this, and I think because our hearts are constantly like, we're trying to check ourselves, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
constantly
Yeah.
like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I think about that
Yeah.
all the time
Mm-hmm.
because we are in such a small percentage of people who believe this. It's hard to not think, okay, am I wrong? But then when you read it
Mm-hmm.
through and you're like literally going like what we're doing verse by verse, and you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, like, how are we getting anything else? It's like hard not for it to be on your mind. Like it's just on
Yeah.
my mind because I'm constantly checking myself. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
any
And it
other
just
reason
makes
than that.
like, it it's not necessary, but if you love the Lord, don't you want to know his truth? And like, learning this, seeing how the history by historians during that time matches up with Jesus's words, it's exciting. It makes it
Yeah,
like he
it
is
is.
who he says he is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
that's why we like to share it, because it's exciting. It's like,
Hmm.
my savior is literally who he says he was, and it matches up with like historical documents. So
Right. Hmm.
that's why we get pumped about it. Okay? If you don't believe it, that's fine.
That's
But
fine.
still.
Yeah.
Okay, next verse. I guess we'll move on. So verse 15. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the roof of this house go down and take anything out of the house. I'll stop at the abomination. We've gone over this before as well, but when they went in and um, destroyed Jerusalem, they left
Hmm.
no stone upon another. We talked about how they literally said they dug and moved every stone because gold and silver was melting between it, and they wanted to make sure they got that, because they're greedy.
Hmm.
And the abomination, it talks about when Titus went in, like he and his soldiers took in like sacrifices to their gods into the part of the temple that was still standing at the time and sacrificed to it. So, like I said, if that's not an abomination, sacrificing to another god in the temple of God, I don't,
Yeah, I know.
the red heifer thing and all these ideas of that literally, yes, the red heifers are mentioned in, what is it, Alyssa, Deuteronomy
I think it's
or
Leviticus.
Leviticus.
Hmm.
That's the only time it's mentioned, but this idea of needing red heifers and stuff for the future temples is literally Talmudic prophecy. It's
Yeah.
not in our prophecies.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's talking about fleeing from Judea. Let's keep going. Let no one, verse 17, let no one on the roof of his house go down and take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get his cloak. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath. I actually thought this verse was interesting, and I'm surprised more rapturists don't use it. I'd like to look up what the word flight means, but it says, pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Wait,
just
what
like,
verse is that?
verse 20 says, pray that your flight may, tell me what yours says, flight will not
Mine's,
take
as I
place
was
in winter.
checking, mine says flight too. That is interesting.
So I wonder, I would like to look up like the Hebrew and Greek
Yeah, that is
of that.
interesting. I don't think I ever
Like,
noticed
what
that.
do they mean by that? But you never hear rapturous using that verse. That's the one I'd be using if I was them.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. Which I never thought anything of this verse, but it is so important to where we are in the timeline because it's saying that these events happen. It will be the worst you ever see, but they're like, and the worst that wait, let me say it exactly so I don't mess it. And never to be equaled again, which means time is still going, like the world is still going, and we will never see that time, something like that again.
And I mean, even to look into, I mean, we always say 536 AD, but I know it could be different, but it's like, how much of the world's, it was like 2/3 of the Earth's population died. 2/3. Has there ever been a time like that before? I mean, I'm not a historian, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure
They said it
that
was the
hasn't
worst year to
happened.
be alive. They said that. That's what
Yes.
it says.
So it's like that goes exactly with this, you know? That's what it makes me
Yeah,
think of.
for sure. Yeah. Um, hold on, let me flip my page. I don't want to miss anything. Same as before, verse 26. Oh, I was gonna mention this, so let's get down here. Let me finish reading this. I don't get to that. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says you look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and miracles to deceive even the elect, if that were possible. See, I have told you ahead of time. This verse is debatable because he adds to deceive even the elect, if that were possible. So is he saying it's not possible, or is he saying for some it might be possible?
I don't know. I go back and forth. But I would say I would lean more towards it is possible. He's saying if it's possible, those people are going to be fooled. Like that's how I would see it. But I could see it either way.
And I think people look at it as like salvation. I look at it as more of like you could still be saved, but like people we know who believe Israel is the Israel of here. It's like I believe those people still have their salvation, even though they believe that. But I think they're being deceived. So, but I think some of them,
Yes.
some people hear that and they think like deceived in the way of like you no longer have salvation. But I've never viewed it like that.
No, I would just think deceived in, I mean, to be honest, in any way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
any.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's how I would see it.
Okay. See, I have told you, verse 25, I've told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you there he is out in the desert, do not go out, or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. Okay, we've talked about the Paul situation going on. People are trying to say stuff. This is a verse that they've been using because when Paul became Paul, he was in the desert when he turned to Christ. And this verse says, there he is out in the desert. Like, don't believe somebody out in the desert. And they're trying to use that against him. That is not,
Oh, I
first of
haven't
all,
heard that.
yeah, it's so dumb. But he came to Christ. He declared Christ is the Messiah. So like I just don't understand how people come to that conclusion. But I thought that was
It's
I just
very
wanted to mention
strange.
that because I've heard
Yeah.
that a lot. But also like I personally have never heard anybody reference that they believe Paul was the Christ. I mean, he was literally killing Christians before, so I don't think anybody was mistaking him as Christ. So he wasn't coming saying he was Christ because people knew who he was and what he was doing before that.
Yeah.
Again, that's not really a part of this, but I just wanted to address that. Okay, verse 27. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Where there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Which, again, this is kind of off topic, but this just proves the biblical cosmology too. As far as the east is from the west, the Son of Man's coming will be visible. You can't do that on a globe model.
No, you really can't.
God could do anything. It's one of those things, again, it's like God could do anything, but why would he do that? Like, why would he make it so complicated?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember this verse for later, but wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Verse 29, immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. That's like what Alyssa was just talking about.
536. Yeah, all those things
Which
happened.
really makes sense too if you think about all this destruction happening and like buildings being burned down, which probably was happening. He's destroying, like at this time, everything's being destroyed. Did I tell you I watched that movie? I think I did. The Lost Bus. Did I mention that to you and our friend? I was going to suggest it to
I don't
watch.
think so.
It was about the fires in Paradise, California.
Okay.
So it's based on a true story that this guy and this teacher, he's a bus driver. He was on his way home, like his route was already done. And they called in, the fires were getting crazy. And they said, can you please stop at this school and pick these kids up? They're in the line of fire. If they don't get picked up, like their parents can't get them, they're going to die, basically. So he stops and gets them. Every way they try to get out, they get surrounded by fires. But anyways, once they're in the area that the fire is taking over, it's during the middle of the day and it's pitch black. And then all you see is like red and everything. And it kind of makes sense that if like this was a time of destruction and lots of fires, like it would seem darker, like the sun would be covered by all the ash and all the stuff happening, like the volcanoes too going off that they say or whatever. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I was watching that and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Like why things might have gone dark for that long because there's so much fire and destruction and smoke.
Yeah, can make sense.
Again, that is just a thought. I don't know if that's accurate, though. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory.
And
I don't know.
Josephus definitely mentions that. He mentions, I mean, we read it not that long ago, that there's chariots in the sky. So
Yeah.
another
And he
thing
mentioned the star that was like the sword that lasted for like a year, right?
yeah, just another thing. And again, I've said this so many times, but with Josephus, it's like the church will literally use Josephus as a reference for many things, but they just ignore the parts that don't go with their views. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It really doesn't.
It just really doesn't. 31.
Yes, and he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. See, and this is where we talked about this before too. Like, I'm not opposed to there being some sort of rapture because scripture clearly says he gathers his elect
I mean, I
multiple
believe
times.
that there was. I mean, it's not in here. Is it First Corinthians? I think it's First Corinthians, the verse that says, like, at the end, like, the trumpet will go and everybody will be taken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do believe that there was a rapture. Just for
I just
sure
don't
not
think
pre.
I don't think it's pre, and I also just don't think it is the way they envision. We talked about this before too. Like our bodies just go up.
Yeah, no. Definitely
I
different.
mean, there's so many times anyways, like in the Old Testament when it talks about like when they're in the spirit, they're like the Lord's like lifting them and taking them places. Like that happens. So I don't doubt that something like that happened. Okay, verse 32. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. And it's like, go ahead.
I don't know. I was going to say, like, sometimes I read it and I'm like, I could kind of see what they're saying, I guess. But then if you put the whole context of the whole New Testament and everything Jesus said, I don't see it. But sure, if you're going to base it off of this one section alone, I could maybe see what they're saying. But you have to factor in the rest of the New Testament and the rest of
and the
Jesus's
history
words.
that we're saying.
And the
too.
history.
It's
Like, you have to factor in everything. But I could see it, honestly, like how they could get that based off
I
of
think if we
this.
didn't have these types of historical records that showed that immediately after Jesus's ascension, all these things Jesus talked about were coming to pass in different ways. If we didn't have that, I could see the argument. But it's like, number one, I want to take Jesus at his word, but then I see this history and I'm like, why would all
Well,
these signs immediately happen after Jesus said?
yeah.
And that's what
And I
it's saying.
think, like, just playing devil's advocate, they would say to us, "Well, you don't trust any history, so why would you trust that?" You know what I mean? So that's why
Mhm.
I'm saying, like, I could see their point of view from this,
Yeah,
but you're dismissing the rest of everything Jesus said
yeah.
and solely
That's some
focusing on this. So,
yeah, that's where they pick and choose, which is like
yeah.
because
But it's like
I
I
agree.
I always try and be open and, like, see both sides, you know what I mean? And I know you do too.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, I
like
mean, I feel like because I used to see it that way, it's harder to, because it's like I
Mhm.
see how I saw it and I was able to come to this conclusion, so it's just like sometimes it's like, how do you not?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
this part does. I will say that it says heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Because heaven and earth don't pass away until, like, obviously that hasn't happened yet. So if we're
Right.
putting it all together too, it's like you said, I mean, I could see how you're saying it, because if you're gonna look at this and say, like, it's actually a future generation, heaven and earth clearly haven't passed away yet, so that's what this hasn't
Y
happened. So I could see
yeah.
what you're saying. But he also
Mhm.
could just mean, like, at some point the heaven and earth is gonna pass away, but what I say is never gonna pass away. Like, he's just making a point of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Mhm.
can see what you're saying. There's a lot of ways that you could look at that, and it is true. Like, I don't trust a lot of history, but the thing is this history, I don't believe a lot of history was manipulated until the 18th century, and then they went back, and I guess they
Yeah.
could have easily done stuff to this as well, for sure.
Right.
And who's to say there wasn't actually more in
I just
Josephus's
think
works that were
yeah, I
missing?
mean, it's hard because, like we've said, like, the church does trust Josephus on so many things. So
Mhm.
and I think that's how we, like, confirm a lot of the books of the Bible, correct? Was through
I think
Josephus?
so. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, you have to dismiss it all. If you
Yeah, you
wanna,
either
like
trust it all or
you
yeah.
either trust it or you don't. So,
Mhm.
I don't that's what I'm saying. It's like, why can't we just, like, have a real conversation?
Yeah.
Because we do like, we're trying to see what they're saying, and we did believe what they're saying for
I
most of
guess
our
for me
lives.
though, it is like, yeah, I don't trust all of history, but the thing is, it's not necessarily that I don't even trust all of history. It's like, so a lot of it is a lot of the timelines they give us.
Yeah.
They just skew little things. So like, I'm not saying all of it's not true. It's just like little details are off to make you like not able to figure things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, like, as far as, like, how we feel about the buildings and stuff, that's not, like, fake history that we're believing. We're looking at what they're telling us, and it doesn't
Mhm.
line up. We're looking at
Yeah.
mud flood stuff, and it doesn't line up. It's like
Mhm.
and the orphan trains and all this stuff,
Mhm.
it just doesn't add up. So it's not that we're
Yeah.
relying on anything false. What they're giving us, their narrative is false. So
Yeah.
we, with common sense, can see that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I also just think like we believe I believe that Satan is trying to change times and seasons and things so we don't know a lot in history. But I also
And it
know that
says that in one of the
mhm,
apocryphal books, it says that
yeah.
he'll use those things to confuse us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I also know that we know that our king is victorious and we know that
Mhm.
above all he's going to preserve what's necessary. So like his word is absolutely the only thing necessary. But I do think things like Josephus's works and Tacitus, they haven't been messed with, and maybe because Satan is so stupid that he's like, I'm going to mess with the timeline here, but nobody's even going to notice. Like, because I think honestly, some of these people who come up with this idea of like the Zionism and push this futurist view, they really thought they just had it all perfect.
Mhm.
So maybe they forgot about works like Tacitus and Josephus, thinking that none of us would ever put two and two together.
Mhm.
I mean, who knows? I'm like you said, it's like I obviously can see, like I said, even looking at that verse, like, pray that your flight will not take place in the winter. Like, we're not fully disagreeing with some of you. We're just disagreeing with the time.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm fine with you like presenting these verses of the rapture. I just don't agree that they are
That's the
happening to
time.
us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're this is actually going longer than I thought. Okay.
I know.
Okay, so verse 36, no one knows about the day or the hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. We covered this in a reel, but we were talking about once Jesus ascended, he was at the right hand of the Father. And that's when, that isn't when, but once Jesus was ascended and in heaven, we get to Revelation, and then maybe I should just read it real quick. I think it's in Revelation 1. Okay. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants, which must soon take place. So Jesus said, not even the Son knows. But after that, he ascended into heaven at the right hand of God. Then we get to Revelation, and it says that Jesus Christ was given that by God. So we know at this point, Jesus does know. And he's been given that knowledge by God, and he's going to relay it to John in this vision that it is now happening.
Mm-hmm.
As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man. For the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, and one will be taken, and the other left. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time the night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. We're almost there, but I don't know if you want to go over that. I feel like you go over it well.
I don't know what you
Like
want me to
where
say.
they're taken.
Like, oh, okay. So yeah, this is like the rapture. I mean, for me, this was a really big rapture section we would talk about at church and stuff growing up. Just saying like they're all going to be taken away. Okay, so I had talked about in verse 28, wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. And so where they're taking them is to the dead bodies. They're not taking them to heaven. So it's like we learn that our whole lives. Like we're just going to disappear. And it's like, no, he's literally saying like, that's not where you want to go. You're going to go where the dead bodies are. Why would the vultures be gathered where something good was happening? If you live where there are vultures, which I do, they're all around my house. If there's a dead animal, they're all there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, that's
you're
where
getting
they're
taken
going to
to somewhere
be.
that's not good. Yeah.
So again, we have to think for ourselves when it comes to what they're interpreting for us, because I literally was taught that my entire life. And then you read it and you're like, wait, what? That's what I
you
was
don't ever get to the
hoping for.
point of where they're taken.
They're
which
just
makes a big
taking
difference.
things. Yeah, it just shows
Yeah.
how much they take things and they twist it to make it fit for them. Because
and the ones who were left behind, they were spared, just like Noah was left behind on the ark, you know.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Also, it's pouring here now, so hopefully my internet's gonna be okay.
Yeah, you're actually getting kind of blurry, so hopefully it doesn't. Okay, we'll go fast through the rest of this. Okay. Okay, let me read really fast. Okay. Okay, verse 45. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. I tell you the truth, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master's staying away a long time. And he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And I think that's pretty clear, and that's one of the frustrations with futurists is like, you get all these date setters, and it's like, suddenly they're like, oh, it's coming, I'm out. I'm just going to chill until he comes. And it's like, the Lord says to keep doing your work. You keep doing what he's called you to do.
That's why regardless of, I don't know, your eschatology, it doesn't really matter what you think you're here or there. What are we supposed to do? Preach the gospel, spread God's love. That's what we're supposed to do, regardless of where we are. It really doesn't matter. Like we've said, we think truth matters, so that's why we get into this stuff. But all in all, we all believe we're going to heaven if we love Jesus. So I don't know. It's just like,
and like, our calling doesn't change. And it's funny because that was like, that's everyone's biggest question. I feel like, I think that was mine, was like, well,
a lot
what
of people
does
ask
that mean for us? Like, why are we here? What are we doing? And it's like,
Same thing.
The purpose never changes. We want to take as many people to heaven with us as we can and share the gospel of Jesus Christ. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that was
much longer than we
that
thought
was
it would
Matthew 24 in a nutshell, if you can
a
call it
long
that.
nut. Oh yeah, a long
Yeah.
nutshell. Oh my gosh.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for
Well,
watching.
bye.
Bye.